So I grew up in Battersea, South London, on an estate called Patmore Estate. It's made up of like 20 different red brick blocks. My childhood growing up seemed like a half normal one, even with my dad in and out of prison. So I went to a primary school called St George's. What I thought was a normal childhood at the time, it turns out it actually wasn't. But either way, I can't say I never went without, like even though with dad being in prison, I never went without. Birthdays, Christmases, I was always well looked after. Yeah, my dad in and out of prison was mainly for armed robberies and firearms. And it just seemed normal because one minute it'd be with us and then 5 years later it'd be back again. But because I was always on prison visits, visiting him like weekly, monthly, and he'd always send me letters home and draw me pictures, it always seemed like he was there. I always looked up to my dad like Superman, and I still do. I love my dad to bits. He's the most funniest man you'd meet. Um, but do you know what? Sometimes when I think back now, I think, do you know what? If my dad was doing like a proper day's work, like being a bricklayer or paint and decorator, I might have followed in that footsteps. But he was an armed robber, so I kind of wanted to be like him in a way. Even though I could have done with him there a few times, there's a few occasions where, when you just need your dad, like need your dad to put his arms around you. And it started, as time went on, it started getting a bit more difficult to say like, Dad, I love you. It's only now, I'm 38 years old now, and my dad, like, he'll end a phone call with, I love you, Lou, which is, he said it really quick because he probably feels a bit uncomfortable saying it as well. And I say the same back to him. So it's kind of nice to get that back from him. My mum's paranoid schizophrenic. She's a lot better now, but she has her ups and downs and she's on a few different medications. And I think because she see my dad doing so much while he'd been married for about 20 years or more, it was kind of half normal for her. And I wish I'd done better by her, to be honest. Like, it does break my heart because she actually had an episode and did go to like a mental hospital for a little while. And I blame myself a lot for that because I used to get the house raided every other month. The house is getting put through because of me. And every time they do that, they take your mobile phones and destroy your house. But I really wasn't thinking, as a young kid, I wasn't thinking about none of that. I feel so bad now. When I sit down now, I feel like, what have I done, man? I've done all of that to my mum. I felt like I was just one of the boys. I felt ordinary. I felt the same. My dad was like a very well-respected man on his estate, and a lot of my friends looked up to him. They'd always be like, oh, Lou's dad's a gangster. Lou's dad's a gangster. Like a lot of the older kids, but I wouldn't have a clue what they was talking about with certain things. I knew he was into robberies and stuff because I used to overhear things as a kid. Never used to say anything to him because I was always taught to keep my mouth shut from a young age. School and that wasn't great for me. I wasn't a very good learner. It's not that I don't want to do the work, is I didn't understand the work and I was too embarrassed to put my hand up and say, Miss, can you give me a hand with this? I don't understand it. Because sometimes it'd take about 10 times for you to explain it. And sometimes I will need you to show me because I will not understand it otherwise. So when I went to secondary school, I just sat in the back of the classroom and I slept through every single lessons, especially maths. I'm sorry, Mr. Stanley, I couldn't do your lesson. I needed help, mate. So I used to just, not that I was a disruptive kid. I wasn't. I was very well behaved. I just wouldn't do my work because I didn't understand it. The other thing about getting a job, when I left school, I went to the job centre and there was jobs going at Asda. Had the application, filled it all out, sent it in. I got through to the next interview and there was 8 spaces available to work at Asda's. 6, there's 8 of us, 6 spaces available. And I was one of the people who didn't get a job at Asda and it really knocked my confidence. I'm thinking, I can't even get a job stacking shelves. But at this point I was selling weed anyway, so I had money. On a good day when I was like 16 years old, I'd make £800 or £1,000 in a day on a good day.
So what would you spend that money on when you're 16?
Oh, mate, if I show you some of the pictures and that, all the jewelry and I used to wear as a kid, I looked like a stupid idiot. I had this massive gold chain around me, a massive bracelet, had a nice little moped, had a nice car. My brother had 2 motorbikes, nice car. Like, I just had loads of nice things. And every now and again, I'd put some money down to have a few doodahs placed up just in case they was needed, and they cost £3,000 and they would go missing every now and again. I bought a car, spent 20 grand on a car when I was 18.
where are you keeping the money?
Trainer boxes. I used to have trainer boxes, just old school trainer boxes under your bed, and old school video cassette tapes. The videos, I used to take the videos out, throw them, just fill them with money. And now and again, you would get losses. You might have a few houses where you're keeping your bits of work and that. Sometimes they get put through, and you'd lose like £20,000 worth of cannabis or whatever I had there. The gang culture started on my estate round about the year 2000. So we got my estate called Patmore, and then you got a road called Wandsworth Road, which separates us from Stockwell and Brixton. We used to have lots of gang wars with we call them the other side. I don't want to name names and stuff. I just say the other side. If I remember correctly, I think it started with someone getting robbed, and then I think us lot doing something about it. And then from that, it's tit for tat. We got them, they got us, we all the way through until now. These wars started out as punches in the face and people getting rushed to people being stabbed and shot. And things just got worse and worse. I started losing friends to knife crime and gun crime. I also started losing friends who was getting lifed off. Some of my friends are doing 30 years, 34 years. And with the gang wars, like, no one really wins. Like, I've been there many occasions when there was gunshots going off, and my brother got shot in front of me 5 times. It was a summer evening. We was walking along the main road on Wandsworth Road. Just hit a motorbike revving up. I was like, oh my God. You know when you're in a bit of shock and you can't run? All the boys started running, but there was my brother and my other good friend standing behind me. And the first shot's gone off, but it's hit my brother in his Achilles. So that's dropped him straight away. My other pal's been hitting the shoulder. His little finger's been taken off. I've managed to get away. I've run down this little hill, and there's like a metal dustbin, and I'm hiding behind there, but I'm already on the phone to the ambulance because I thought my brother's dead now. It's about 20 shots have gone off. He's 100% dead. I'm on the phone to the ambulance, and I was pretty calm. I know a lot was going on, but I was pretty calm. I said to the ambulance, can you please come and get my brother? He's dead. He's on Wandsworth Road. Gave him the address, and I put the phone down. But before the police come out, I watched the motorbike drive off, and that's when I run back to the top of the hill. I started pulling my brother's clothes off because I realized he was still alive. When the last shot hit him, he went, oh, I thought, oh shit, my brother's still breathing. I was like, no way he survived that. So I've run back up there, pulled all his clothes off. I was covering up the bullet holes until the ambulance got there, and then they took over. And I'll be honest, I didn't hang around to talk to no police. I went back to the estate. It's just a targeted hit on all of us, really, because there was like me, my brother, my other pal, and about 5 other people. But they was a little bit further down, so it could have been meant for all of us, to be fair. There was a lot of gang wars, so because we're very well-known people in the estate, so it is quite a good shot for them, to be honest. And to be honest, I didn't really like the gang culture anyway. I was more about making money, but the thing was, they're all my friends. I happen to be associated with them, so if I'm with them and they've got a problem, I'm gonna have to join in. So me joining in now has then made it my problem with them, so I've got beef now. But I was more into selling drugs. I was supplying cannabis from like the age of 14, 15, like £10 and £20 bags, doing very well from it. And I got pretty bored of selling weed. Like, and I wanted to kind of do what my dad was doing and rob cash in transit vans. And from drug dealing, I've gone to committing robberies to armed robberies. So I just got higher and higher. The level of violence was involved. We was at an event on our estate, standing outside this pub, and some fellas come in the middle of the road with a machine gun, and he's probably let off over 20 rounds. But as he's letting off, everyone's scattering, everyone's running, all the pub windows are going through. He's managed to hit a bouncer. A bouncer's been shot. And as I'm trying to get away and duck, I've had to step over his dead body to get back inside the pub, jump over the bar. And even then, I've jumped over the bar, I've gone out the fire exit, gone back to the estate, and I'm thinking, wow, that could have been me. But this is what happens. People do these shootings, and it's always an innocent person who had nothing to do with the beef or the trouble to start. It's always an innocent person being shot. A bouncer doing his normal day's job has lost his life because some has decided to open up with a machine gun. None of the boys got hit, just an innocent person. That's a big thing. I still live that quite a lot. Because there come a time where I thought I was making up all these stories. I thought, Lou, you're going mad. That didn't happen. I thought I was making up all these stories in my head. And I used to ask my friends, did this happen? And they're like, yeah. And then I thought, do you know what? Let me Google it. I used to go and Google bouncer being shot on Wandsworth Road with a machine gun. I was like, look, there it is right there. It actually did happen. Same thing with my brother. And the other shooting, what happened was someone come around our estate with a shotgun. They sneaked up on us around the block. But what happens when you shoot a shotgun, if you shoot it from a distance, it's not really going to do much. You might get hit with a few pellets, and that's what's happened. And even to this day, my friend's still picking out little pellets what come out of his head every now and again. Remember, he come to visit me, and he was scratching his head. And it's like, look, he pulled out a little pellet out of his head from that day. So I've had about 5 near-death experiences, and I got stabbed once when I was in Reading. I only got a few stitches in the back. I was fighting with some fellas outside a club. Me being a drunken idiot probably, but one of them's managed to stab me. But I thought someone threw a drink on me. So when I got in the cab and I was doing that, I was like, what the hell? Someone throwing a drink on me. I'm not very good with blood, people. I see blood on my hand. I was like, "Doop." I passed out. I don't even like getting my bloods taken in the GPs. I'm not good with them things. So yeah, I've got like 4 or 5 stitches in my back from that. But I still relive the moments when my brother got shot and the bouncer got hit. It sounds a bit ridiculous, but I'll tell you what happened. Dad's just got a 10.5-year sentence for armed robbery himself, previous. I was doing very well at the time, had a nice car, had money, but I was bored, like I said.
How old?
18. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to jump on these cash in transit vans and start taking them boxes off them. So I've gone to do one in Streatham High Road. He was delivering into a train station. It was summer 2005. I think it's July it was. Do you remember when the London tube bombings and train bombings were going, bus bombings were going off? Anyway, tube and trains were on high alert, but I don't think the Streatham Hill one would be. So anyway, the cash guard's got out with the cassette and he's walking into the train station. And as he's walking in, I've kind of barged into him and took the box off him. But when I took the box off him, I looked up and there's already armed police there all looking at me. I'm like, oh my God. So I've had to do a U-turn. I started running, about 20 old Bill chasing me behind. My friends kind of frisbeed the cassette back at the police chasing us. We actually got away from the armed police. We got back to the getaway car and the driver wasn't in the car. The driver wasn't in the car. There was no keys in the car. We got old Bill chasing us, so we've had to continue running down this long road now. And I've looked behind and I can see the driver. He must have been having a piss over there. So I've gone in the middle of the road to say, come and get us now. And as I'm doing that, a riot van's come behind us. And I've looked at my Cody, Ian. I said, listen, we just go guilty straight away, mate. They got us red-handed here. Let's go guilty. And ended up getting 3 years. Because it looked so unprofessional, unplanned. We got 3 years, do 18 months. So I went to Feltham. And then from Feltham, we went to Portland. And then Portland to Rochester. And then I finally come home.
Hi, and welcome to Deep.
We love making videos, meeting people, and letting them tell their stories.
We really hope you're enjoying the channel, and if you are and would like a bit more,
We've just launched the series as a podcast on Spotify.
It's the full interviews uncut, so you can hear the whole thing, wherever you are, at home or on the go.
But no matter where you're watching the content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, as it really helps the channel.
And don't forget to drop a comment below and tell us who you'd like us to talk to next.
Thank you. Now, back to our story.
Okay, cool.
I enjoyed planning the robbery. What route am I going to take? Where am I going to place this car? Where am I going to put this bike? I'm going to put the second car on this road. I'm going to avoid that camera there. And I enjoyed that part of it. And also like doing it. But the only thing about doing armed robberies is I don't plan on anyone getting hurt. So on the last robbery what I went to prison for, I didn't plan on the man getting hurt. I've got out of the car. And let me just take you back. So 2 weeks before this robbery took place, I watched the delivery. I knew the setup, had all the cars put in place. The guy delivering the cash was about 5 foot tall. And I was thinking, yes, this is going to be this is going to be a touch. One's going to be easy. 2 weeks later, it's snowing, it's cold, sitting in the car. We had a tinted Jeep at the time, so I could see them, but they can't see me, waiting for him to do the last drop. I'm thinking, I'm going to go. This man's got out of the van. It's not the same man from 2 weeks ago. It's a big 20-stone man. He's an ex-British powerlifting champion who spent 15 years in Afghanistan. So he was not scared. I've got out of the car with a gun and I've stuck it to him and he swung for me. I was like, oh my God, if that would have caught me, it'd have knocked me clean out. So I've kind of rolled it, but I've got the gun and I've gun bucked him about 5 or 6 times. But when you get tunnel vision, and I didn't realize until I got nicked how many times I'd actually hit him because they wear the helmets. I've hit him 5 or 6 times and I knocked some of his teeth out. And I feel so bad because he spent all that time over there. He's come over here to get a normal day's job and I've done that. And even people like who's witnessing it, there might have been school kids about. I could have scared the shit out of some people, and you don't think about it at the time. I think about it now because I've grown up and matured. What messed me up in that case is, though, the cash guard said when I had the gun to him, he said I pulled the trigger, and I didn't pull the trigger, and that's what got me so long. Like I put the gun to him, expecting him to just hand me the money, but he swung for me, and in a frenzy, I've just gun bucked him. It lasted about 30 seconds. I had to lift him off the money, got back in the getaway car, got away, got back in the second car. I was gone. It's only a week later, my house got raided, and they went back on their NPR cameras and they had my car driving in convoy with the car that was used 2 weeks before the robbery took place. So that's why they come and raided my house. Because at the scene of the robbery, they didn't know what colour the armed robber was. They found no gun, no DNA was found in the car that was used. And all the witnesses said it was a tall, slim man. And the security guard said, although I couldn't see what colour he was, he sounded like a white man. I'm thinking, some of my black friends sound whiter than me. What are you on about? So from that, we've been nicked. I didn't get charged straight away. It took them 8 months to charge me because the evidence was so weak. They found no money, nothing. Put me on surveillance for 8 months, followed me around. They even signed up to my gym, trying to train next to me, listening to my phone calls, following me around in petrol station. I used to know they was following me, and I used to use I had a BlackBerry at the time. I used to film them following me. They even brought up in court that they said Mr. Clark was very aware of his surroundings, and they even went against me. They took my laptop, and on my laptop, I used to love things like anything to do with armed robberies, jewelry shops being robbed. I like all that sort of stuff. Crime Watch. I used to love watching Crime Watch. On my laptop, they got loads of me watching them sort of things. And even they brought up Lewis was watching the 10 Best Knockouts by Mike Tyson. I love boxing, and I had 3 boxing fights that year, white collar fights. So I was trying to get some motivation like from that, and they used it against me, saying Lewis hit him with some very accurate punching, and this comes from that. Their evidence was so weak, but because my dad was on the case, he's got like 3 previous firearm offences for cash in transits. I've got a cash in transit offence. We look guilty. They think I've done it with my dad. There's a lot more to the story than what they even know. And there's only so much I can say. They think my dad's involved. He ended up getting a life sentence for it. Although they didn't see the driver of the car. They didn't say how old he was or anything. It's just his phone put him in that sort of area 2 weeks before. And my dad's got one of them guilty faces anyway, but they said he was the driver, and we just had to go with it. So I was sentenced to 16 years for the armed robbery, then taken back to court 3 months later for a confiscation order for the money that was taken. I received an extra year on top, so I ended up with 17 years, do half. And I remember standing up in court when they said, Lewis Clark, please stand. I sentence you to 17 years. I looked behind me like, who, me? I thought they made a mistake. I thought I was going to be getting like 10 years being a result and 12 years like being a bad one. So when they said that, I think, nah, this can't be right. Anyway, I've just accepted it. Dad found it funny because he knew he was getting a life sentence. He got a 9-year life sentence. It's like, oh, well, it's trip day today. It's Friday, because on Friday in prison, you get trips. We got back and they put me and my dad in a cell together, and like we was codees plus cellmates. And it is my dad who kind of got me used to living life in prison. So it's like, Lou, this is what we got to do now. You're going to spend about 3 years here in a B cat and work your way up through the system, C cat, then D cat, open conditions. So he helped me keep my head down. I was Jim Wardley in high down for like 3 years, from like 2013 to 15. And just having dad for a cellmate, I used to do my nutting. Do you know, he used to get up at 6 in the morning, yeah? He'd put the kettle, I'm sleeping, it's 6 in the morning, dad, we're in prison, just let me sleep. He put the kettle on, knowing I'm sleeping, and then he had a metal spoon. But you're not allowed metal spoons in prison. So dad, I don't know where you got that from. He probably nicked it from the officer, one of the officers' rooms or something. But anyway, he'd say, Lou, do you want a cup of tea? But he'd be getting this metal spoon and smashing it around his cup. Lou, do you want a cup of tea? I'm thinking, oh, you I'm like, all right, dad, I have a coffee, mate. That's when I first started drinking coffee. I never used to have hot drinks. So now I love coffee because of dad. But yeah, he set me out, got me in a good routine, up early in the morning, get to the gym, work, kept my head down. But in prison, dad was the happiest man ever. And in a way, I felt like he wanted to go back to prison because he used to struggle with the outside life. I think it's mainly structure. Having structure in your life is a massive thing. In prison, you know exactly what you're doing. He used to walk around along the walks in high down, big smile on his face. And all my mates in there be like, Lou, your dad's always happy. I said, he loves it. So I spent 3 years in H&P high down. And from there, because of my good behaviour, I managed to get a C-cat. I went to H&P Coldenly from there. But I only done a year in Coldenly. For some reason, they done security ship outs. And I was one of the unlucky ones who got sent to H&P Only in Rugby, which worked out better for me anyway. It's a bit far from home. When I did get that big sentence, remember, I've got a 2-year-old little girl. She can walk, she can talk. She loves her dad. Her dad's everything to her. I've let her down. I've gone to prison. My first prison visit with her was in H&P Highdown, 2013. And this little girl's running around on a visit and she doesn't realise I can't get up and run around with her. So we're having little foods and snacks. This always gives me a lump in the throat because it means a lot to me. But her last words to me on that visit were, "You come home now, daddy. You come home." And them words, they make me tear up every single time. Them words absolutely... The same words that killed me are the same words that keep me going and make me want to do better. Because she didn't understand, I can't get up and walk out with you, Hallie. And them words are my go-to words when I'm feeling down and depressed and that I don't want to do this anymore. So she doesn't realise she saved me. But yeah, the prison visits were everything for me, even though they used to kill me at the end every time they had to go. But I never showed it to them that I was feeling sad or whatever. I'd always try and be upbeat so they left feeling good. But they probably know now that, yeah, it used to hurt me really bad when they had to go. Yeah, it was a weird one coming home after so long because I did go open conditions, but I didn't get like home leave. I had like 5 town visits, so I wasn't allowed back to where I was originally from. So the first 3 months, I wanted to go back to prison. I hated it outside. It wasn't for me. I was thinking, this is moving way too fast. I'm not ready for this. I even went to McDonald's and it's all touchscreen now. You got to use this touch thing to order your food. And I'm thinking, how do you even do this? I was starving this day and I come out of the shop because I didn't know how to use it and I was embarrassed to ask someone. Things were just moving too fast. And then I've got all my old friends. They're still like, some of them are working now, which I'm very pleased. Like, I won't say their names, but I'm really proud of them. They've changed their life around. They've gone from doing what we used to do, like to work. And so there's a few friends I'd love to shout out and say, I'm proud of you, mate. But there's a lot of other friends still doing the same thing, still on the block. I've had to come away from that. I find it very cringy when I look back and I look at some of my old photos of me sitting inside the blocks with 20, 30 other people. I'm thinking, oh, what a div. What are you doing, Lou, man? Like, you really wasted yourself. A lot of the older ones now, they're just retired. They just work and stuff. But a lot of the younger ones who looked up to me before I went to prison, some of them was like up and down with me. But now I think they're starting to mature and they're starting to realise, you know what, Lou's right, man. He's living the right life. But they're thinking now, but how do I get out of it now? You know, I can't let that slide because a lot of my friends have been shot. A few of them got shot last year, like 5 of them. And they're like, oh, I can't let that slide sort of thing. I've got to go and do that. I'm like, boys, you need to come away from this estate, start afresh somewhere. But the thing is, it's tit for tat. If he shoots him, then he's going to want to go back and shoot him. Like, I just don't know where it stops, and I don't know what the solution is. But what I can say is, my brother got shot 5 times, and my best friend, I'm willing to let that one go. Like, no one ever got nicked for it. No, I don't know who done it. I don't want to know. But all I'd say is, I don't want you to ever do that again, man. Just live your life. And if I'm willing to let that go, I'm sure you boys can let things go as well, man. I was once a dangerous man, yeah, but a very controlled one. I'm not very erratic. I'd think about stuff, but I've got, what's the word? Is it a heavy head? Like, there's a lot there. What sits heavy on me, which I struggle with, and there used to be times where I wanted to go and react. But I think about the consequences now, and people need to stop being so hard on themselves. Like me, it eats me up every day. I'm so hard on myself. I feel like I let my mum down, my dad, my little girl, and it eats me up. But everyone always says, Lou, stop being so hard on yourself. You've done so well now. Look where you're at now. So this is something I need to work on myself. I've still got personal issues I need to work on, and I know I've got difficulties still, but I'm slowly overcoming it. And I find talking out more, talking to people. I went to doctors today, actually, to the GP, a mental health appointment, and just to get things out, and that it did actually help. But brought a lot of things back, and there's a lot of things I hold back from doing, like talking to you guys. Like, I've only told you 50% of my life because I'm saving the other 50% for a book. Mine and my dad's relationship, I feel like it's the strongest it's ever been. Like, even though he's my dad, he feels like it's my big brother. Like, we tell each other we love each other, but he keeps doing my nutting. He's got his own house now, and he loves cooking. So every day he will make a new dinner, take a picture of it, send it to me, and be like, yummy. I'm like, what am I meant to respond to that, Dad? What do you want me to say? Yeah, lovely, Dad, nice. Bless him, he's got his little parrot and that now, but we've got a really good relationship. My mum lives by herself still in Battersea, so every time I go down to pick my daughter up in Battersea, I go and check in on my mum. My mum's just at that age now, she just wants to chill out. It's heartbreaking. Like, sometimes I go there and she's on her vape and she looks depressed, and I feel like I need to get my mum out of the house, but I live so far from her now, I can't check in on her as much. My eldest daughter is really well. She's just a teenager with attitude, love her to bits. But I'm still working on that bond with her. I tell her I love her every single day, but I'm still waiting for her to say it back to me. That's all I want to feel. I just want to hear, Dad, I love you. If I hear them words, like that will make my whole day. She knows I love her, and I know she loves me, but we've not had that time yet where she feels comfortable to say I love you, Dad. And even for me to get a little cuddle from her, I'd love her to give me a cuddle. That'd do me the world. But I also have another little baby. She's 9 months now, little Lainey, and I'm with her daily, and I can't get enough of her. Even just leaving her today to come here, I just want to get back to her and be a dad and comfort her and play with her. So yeah, my family's doing okay. My older brother, he's a paint and decorator now. He's not what he used to be, but at least he's not in prison. I think karma's kind of caught up with some of us. But with me, I'm breaking that cycle. I'm trying to do something different now. I had a lot of the youngsters look up to me on the estate, and they used to see me selling drugs, driving nice cars, or being on a nice motorbike. So a lot of them looked up to me, thinking, I want to be like Lou, I want to be like Lou. They don't realise how much pain I've actually gone through being in prison, being away from the family, especially my daughter, leaving a newborn. You go through so much pain, and you don't realize how much pain you put on your family, how much stress you put on your family. Like I said, I put so much stress on my mother, and my dad did, and my older brother. I put a lot of stress on my mum. She ended up going to a mental hospital, having a breakdown, and I used to have to go and visit her at this hospital. That used to break my heart, but I was part of it. I was part of it, what made my mum have her breakdown. We don't realize how much people we hurt, how much, it's like a ripple effect. It's not just yourself, you're hurting everyone else around you. And I need the youngsters to know of today is no one wins in this gang war. Someone either dies, someone either goes to prison for 30 years. I've got many friends who are dead, and I've got many friends who are doing life sentences. Some of them are doing 30 years. They're not making it home. They're going to die in prison. Nobody wins in this. You need to understand you got little brothers and sisters who are looking up to you. That's how you need to think. What would they think? Like, what are you going to do to them, leaving them? They look up to you. Your little brother and sister love you, and your parents love you. Just realize how much people you're affecting when you're committing crimes or doing what you're doing.